بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو على ما من به علينا من النعم الكثيرة الظاهرة والباطنة وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. So we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one that there's none that has the right to be worshipped except Him, who's alone without having any partners, the one who has bestowed upon us blessings that are numerous, that which is outward and inward. And we bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's alone without having any partners. And that Muhammad ibn Abdullah is his servant and his messenger. May the peace and salutations of Allah be upon him and upon his family and his companions and upon all those who follow to the establishment of the last day. To proceed, ikhwan, فنواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue in this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful, the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من علم العقيدة من علم العقيدة. We continue tonight benefiting from the science of al-Aqidah من كتاب شيخنا أبي محمد عبد الحميد الحجوري حفظه الله تعالى وهو من علماء اليمن. So we continue to read from the works of one of our imams, one of our mashaykh, Al-Shaykh Abdul Hamid Al-Hujuri from the lands of Al-Yemen, وهو من تلاميذ الشيخ مقبل بن هادي الوادعي رحمه الله. And he's from the students of the noble Imam of Al-Hadith in Al-Yemen, Al-Shaykh Muqbil ibn Hadi al-Wadi'i, may Allah have mercy upon him. ونقرأ ونستفيد من كتابه الذي يسمى اعرف عقيدتك. And the title of this book once again is Learn or Know Your Belief. Learn or Know Your Belief. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بيان أقسام التوحيد. He says chapter, the clarification of the categories of Tawheed. فما هو التوحيد يا إخوان? So what is the meaning of التوحيد? من يجيب? To single out Allah Ta'ala بالعبادة. To single out Allah, إفراد الله تعالى في العبادة. To single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in worship. قال والتوحيد عند أهله ينقسم إلى ثلاثة أقسام. He says Tawheed, to the people of Tawheed, it has been derived or classified or categorized into three groups. طيب هذا القول, that's one position. قال الآخرون ينقسم إلى القسمين. There are some scholars, some of the people of knowledge, they say Tawheed is of two types. وقال بعضهم أن التوحيد أربعة. And some scholars they say Tawheed is four. لكن ثلاثة أقسام أشهر ماذا تقسيم. أشهر تقسيم. Those that say that it's three, this is the most famous, the most popular of the classifications. لكن قلنا قبل يا إخوان أن الذين يقولون ثلاثة أو اثنين أو أربع معنى واحد. المعنى واحد. As we mentioned from time and time before, those that say three, those that say two, those that say four, the meaning is the same. They just differ on the numbering, but it has the same meaning. طيب قال الأول توحيد الربوبية. He says, as for the first category, it is Tawheed of Allah's Lordship, to single out Allah in His Lordship. قال هو إفراد الله تعالى بأفعاله فهو المتصرف والخالق والمالك المدبر الرازق سبحانه وتعالى. He says this category, it is to single out Allah with regards to Allah's actions. You're singling out Allah regarding Allah's actions. He says, and He is al-mutasarrif. Allah Ta'ala is the one that is the arranger of the affairs. Al-Khaliqu, He is the creator. Al-Maliku, the owner, the sustainer, the possessor. Al-Mudabbiru, the one who illustrates and lays out everything. Al-Razzaqu, or Al-Raziqu, the provider, the off-provider. Glory belongs to Allah, who is the most exalted. وهذا النوع من التوحيد لم يخالف فيه إلا شواذ من البشرية. He says this category of tawheed here, the oneness of Allah's lordship, you only find a few small people in creation who ever opposed this, whoever did not accept this. قال النوع الثاني, as for the second type, توحيد الألوهية, it is the oneness of Allah's worship. وهو إفراد الله بأفعال المكلفين ويسمى بالتوحيد العبادة وتوحيد القصد والطلب والنية. He says, as for the second category, this is called Tawheed al-Uluhiyya. And this is understood to be singling out Allah regarding the actions of those who have been entrusted. Who are those who have been entrusted, ya ikhwan?
Humankind and jinns.
Mankind والإنس الإنس والجن. بالنسبة للإنس فهو من يبلغ مبلغ ما ذهب عقله ولا يكون صغيرا في السن. As for the mankind, this is the one that has reached the age of maturity and he has his sound, rational mind. He says, and it's also called, the second category has a few different names. You can call it Tawheedul Ibadah, the Tawheed of worship. You can also call it Tawheed al-Qasd, the Tawheed of intent. You can also call it Tawheed al-Talab, the Tawheed of request. You can also call it Tawheed al-Niyah. You can also call it the Tawheed of intent. فكل هذه الأسماء بمعنى واحد كلها مترادف أو كلها مترادفات. All of these names, Tawheed al-Uluhiyya, Tawheed al-Ibadah, Tawheed al-Qasd, Tawheed al-Niyya, Tawheed al-Talab, they are different names that have the same meaning. You're singling out Allah Ta'ala with regards to the servant's actions. من يمثل لنا, who can give us an example يا إخوان, من ماذا عمل العبد ويصرفه إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى لا غيره. تفضل.
Pray only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
أحسن. The one who يصلي لله. فالصلاة مثلا ليس من ماذا أعمال الله، لا، هذا النوع من أعمال المكلفين. Worship is not from the actions of Allah ever, prayer, لا. However, it's from the actions of the servants of Allah. So the servant, he prays ولا يصلي إلا لله. So he doesn't pray except to Allah. Another example, Masi, an action of the servant. MashaAllah, az-zakah, ahsant. Huwa yuzakki lillah. He gives zakah for the sake of Allah. Mithal akhar. Someone else give us another example. As-siyam, ahsant. As-sawm. Yasumu lillah. He fasts for the sake of Allah. Ahsantum. قال فصلاتهم. So he says, so their prayer, وصيامهم, and their fast, وحجهم, and their pilgrimage, وزكاتهم, and their zakah, وجميع أعمالهم يجب أن تكون لله سبحانه وتعالى. And all of the remaining of their actions is a must that they are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا شريك معه أو لا يشرك معه غيره. لا يشرك معه نعم لا يشرك معه غيره, and no one besides him is joined as a partner in this affair. يرحمك الله. لا ملك مقربا, not an angel that is brought close, ولا نبي مرسلا, and nor a prophet that has been sent. قال الله تعالى الآية الأولى, our first verse of tonight, في سورة الأنعام, as it comes in Surah Al-An'am. قال قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. Allah Ta'ala, He says, say to them, O Muhammad, verily my prayer and my sacrifice and my life and my death are all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of all the worlds. La sharika la, He has no partners. وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ, and with this is what I've been commanded with. وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, and I am the first of those who have submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Surah Al-An'am. قال الإمام, so the Imam continues, وهذا النوع من التوحيد هو الذي أرسلت به الرسل. So he says this category here, the tawheed of Allah's worship, tawheed al-uluhiyyah, this is the category that the messengers were sent with. وأنزلت به الكتب, and the heavenly divine books were sent down for. وشرع من أجله الجهاد, and by way of it, jihad, defending al-Islam from those who tried to eliminate al-Islam, has been established. ومن أجله انقسم الناس إلى مؤمن أبرار وإلى كافر فجار. And for this reason, the worship of Allah, mankind has been divided into a few types. From them, you have the obedient believers. May Allah make us all from them. From them, you have the disobedient disbelievers. وَإِلَى أَصْحَابِ الْجَنَّةِ وَأَصْحَابِ النَّارِ. Also, the people can be divided into the people of the Jannah and the people of the hellfire. نسأل الله تعالى لنا ولكم أن نكون من أصحاب الجنة. And we ask Allah for ourselves and for our brothers and our sisters that He makes us from the people of the Jannah. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. النوع الثالث, the third category. So now we have two. What's the first category? Hishmatullah?
توحيد ربوبية
Tawheed al-Rububiyyah.
وإفراد الله تعالى بأفعاله.
Accent, and that's to single out Allah in Allah's actions. Second type, Masi? Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Accent. Third type, Tawheed al-Asma' wa Sifat. To single out Allah regarding His names and His attributes. Tawheed al-Asma' wa Sifat. To single out Allah regarding His names and attributes. وهو إفراد الله عز وجل بما يختص به من الأسماء والصفات. And this is to single out Allah alone regarding those things that are specific for Allah from His names and attributes. To single out Allah alone regarding those names that are specific and particular for Allah and His attributes. فنثبت لله تعالى ما أثبته لنفسه في كتابه الكريم. He says, from this we affirm for Allah what Allah has affirmed for Himself in His noble book. وهذا مهم, and that's important يا إخوان. ما معنى هذا? What does this mean? يثبت العبد المسلم كل ما أثبته الله سبحانه وتعالى لنفسه في الكتاب أو في كتابه الكريم. What does this mean? The servant of Allah affirms for Allah everything Allah affirms for Himself in His noble, glorious Quran. ولا يثبت العبد المسلم لله إلا ما أثبته الله تعالى لنفسه. And the servant does not, and this is important يا إخوان, he does not affirm for Allah except those things that Allah has affirmed for Himself. قال وأما طيب وما أثبته له النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. Second point. And he affirms for Allah everything that the Prophet and the prophets, or the messenger and the messengers, have established for their Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. من غير تكييف, without asking the how. ومن غير تمثيل, without likening Allah to His creation. ومن غير تحريف, and without changing and distorting the meaning. ولا تعطيل, and without denying the meaning. بل هو سبحانه وتعالى كما قال عن نفسه. But rather Allah, the Mighty and the Majestic, is just as He says about Himself, ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. Surah Al-Shura. That there's nothing equal to him, Allah. There's nothing similar to him. There's nothing comparable to Allah. وهو السميع, أي Allah. هو السميع البصير. And he, meaning Allah, he is the all-hearer and the all-seer. فنفى الله تعالى لنفسه المماثلة وأثبت الله سبحانه وتعالى له السمع والبصر. السمع والبصر. So in this ayah, in Surah Al-Shura, Allah denies for himself, negates for himself anything resembling him, anything being compared to him. ليس كمثله شيء. There's nothing like Allah. And he affirms for himself the quality of hearing. And he affirms for himself the description and the quality of seeing. أعطيكم فائدة. We'll give you a benefit يا إخوان. بالنسبة إلى كل صفة من صفات الله سبحانه وتعالى كيف يفهم العبد هذه الصفات بالنسبة إلى الكيفية. بالنسبة إلى الكيفية. So we're going to give a benefit inshallah. With regards to all of Allah's descriptions and all of Allah's attributes, how does the servant understand them regarding the how? Not the meaning, the how. How do we say, for example, how does Allah come down to the lowest heavens? النبي أخبرنا أن الله تعالى ينزل إلى سماء الدنيا كل ثلث الليل من حديث أبي هريرة في الصحيح. The Messenger of Allah taught us, informed us that Allah comes down to the lowest heavens every last third of the night, as it comes in the hadith of Abu Hurairah. But how does Allah do it?
كما يليق بجلاله.
أحسنت. In a manner that befits His Majesty. إذا نفهم هذا فنطبقها لكل صفة من صفات الله. If we understand that, how does Allah come down? In a manner that befits His Majesty. You can't explain it. You can't break it down. How does Allah do it? In a manner that befits His Majesty. If you understand that, you do it for every description of Allah. How does Allah hear everything from His creation at the same time? كما يليق بجلاله. In a manner that befits His Majesty. قال ولله سبحانه وتعالى من الأسماء والصفات ما لا يحصيه العاد وإنما أخبرنا الله عز وجل بما شاء منها لنعرفه بها ولنتعبده له بقضتها وندعوه بها أو كما قال. He says here, so belonging to Allah are those names and attributes that no one can enumerate or count. And Allah Ta'ala has informed us, the creation, of whatever He wished to inform us of from them, so we can know Him, and so that we can worship Him, and so we can call upon Him and make dua to Him by way of them. وَكُلُّ اسْمٍ لِلَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى يَتَضَمَّنُ صِفَةً. Next benefit, write this down, ya ikhwan. He says, in every name of Allah, every name from the names of Allah encompasses a description. Every name from the names of Allah, this name has with it a quality, a description. كل اسم من أسماء الله له أو يتضمن صفة. Every name from the names of Allah, they include a description. They include a description. فمثلا, for example, السميع, the all-hearer, الذي يسمع, meaning He is the one that hears. والبصير, the all-seer, الذي ماذا يبصر, the name al-basir, the all-seer, means He is the one that sees. Al-qadir, the all-powerful, the almighty, الذي هو على كل شيء قدير, meaning the one that is able upon all things, or the one that is capable and able to do all things. Al-Qawi, the all-strong and almighty, meaning Dhul Quwwa, that He, Allah, is the one that possesses all strength and might. Ar-Rahim, the Yarham, the name Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, meaning He is the one that bestows mercy. وهو ذو الرحمة الواسعة التي وسعت كل شيء, and that His mercy, or that He is the possessor of all vast mercy, and His mercy reaches all things. وهكذا في سائر الأسماء الحسنى لله. And it's the same for all of the remaining beautiful exalted names that belong to Allah. وصفات العلا كما يثبت له جميع صفات التي أثبتها لنفسه وأثبتها له رسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم. And those distinguished and exalted qualities and descriptions that He has affirmed for Himself, all of them have that He has affirmed for Himself, and that which Allah Ta'ala established for Himself and His Messenger Muhammad has established for His Lord. على ما يأتي بيان بعضها, and we're going to explain some of them insha'Allah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Next chapter. الإيمان بجميع صفات الله الثابتة في القرآن والسنة. Write this chapter down, ya ikhwan. Chapter. Having belief in all of the descriptions of Allah. Having belief in all of the descriptions of Allah that are established. الإيمان بجميع صفات الله الثابتة. Having iman in all of those established qualities of Allah. في القرآن, that are in the Quran, والسنة, and in the Sunnah. نستفيد من هذا, we benefit from this title يا إخوان. على المسلم أن يؤمن بكل ما أخبرهم الله تعالى أن يؤمن به. We understand here is upon the Muslim to firstly believe in everything Allah Ta'ala is informing them to believe in. وأن يؤمن بجميع صفة من صفات الله التي في القرآن والتي في السنة. في القرآن والسنة. And we have to also believe in all of those descriptions of Allah that we find in the Quran. Everything Allah mentions about Himself in the Quran, على المسلم أن يؤمن به. It's upon the Muslim to believe in them. وكذلك كل ما وصف النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام ربه سبحانه وتعالى بالصفة على المسلم أن يؤمن بها. أن يؤمن بها. And every description that the Prophet of Allah, or you can say the prophets of Allah, have described Allah with, we have to also believe in that. قال فنؤمن أنه سبحانه وتعالى. So he says, so therefore we, the Muslims, we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the glorified and the exalted, يغضب, that He gets angry. How does Allah get angry, Massey? Trick question. Don't rush. How does Allah get angry? How? Not when. How? In a manner that befits His Majesty. Write this down. I want you to write this 25 times. In a manner that befits Allah's Majesty. Every time you hear how, when it comes to Allah's description, not the meaning, not when, no, how. How does Allah, how is Allah? How, every time you hear how, the answer is in a manner that befits His Majesty. Why is it like that? أولا السلف كانوا يقولون هذا. Why do we say that? Firstly, the rightly guided predecessors of the past used to say that. Number one. Number two, ما عندنا الدليل لا من الكتاب ولا من السنة نبين كيفية الله أو كيفيات الله سبحانه وتعالى. And also, we don't have no knowledge or any knowledge from the Quran and Sunnah. We don't have any proof to support how when it comes to Allah. How does Allah, the Messenger of Allah mentions in the hadith that we mentioned earlier, Allah comes down to the lowest heavens. The Prophet didn't say how. So we can't say how. Allah Ta'ala mentions Ar-Rahmanu al-Arsh istawa, Surah Taha. Allah Ta'ala, He says, the most merciful one rose above the Arsh in Surah Taha. But He didn't say how. So the how is unknown. The how is unknown. So you can't talk about it. So for this reason, the Salaf used to say, كَمَا يَلِيقُ بِجَلَالِهِ, in a manner that befits His Majesty. قَالَ يَغْضَبُ, He says, so Allah gets angry. How does He get angry?
كما يليق بجلاله.
كَمَا يَلِيقُ بِجَلَالِهِ, in a manner that befits His Majesty. وَيَرْضَى, and we believe that Allah is pleased. How is He pleased?
كما يليق بجلاله.
In a manner that befits His Majesty. If you brothers understand that, and you sisters understand that, نطبق مثل هذا في كل صفة من صفات الله بالنسبة إلى الكيفية. Then we do this for every quality, every description of Allah regarding the how, not the meaning, the how. قال ويسخط, and we believe that Allah, He gets furious. ويحب, and we believe that Allah loves. ويكره, and He hates. وينزل إلى السماء الدنيا في ثلث الأخير من الليل, and we believe that Allah comes down to the lowest heavens and the last third of every night. Why do we believe that?
Because He told us in the Quran and Sunnah. We understand that from Quran and Sunnah.
We get that from the Book of Allah and His Sunnah, the Sunnah of His Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام. وأنه ماذا يمكر بالماكرين ويكيد بالكائدين وغير ذلك كما يليق بجلاله. And we believe that Allah plans. For example, some people say plan or plots for those who plan and plot. And other than that, in a manner that befits His Majesty. كما قال تعالى نفسه, just as Allah Ta'ala said about Himself, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ Surah Al-Ikhlas. As Allah Ta'ala, He says, and there's nothing equal or similar to Him, as it comes in Surah Al-Ikhlas. وقال تعالى, and Allah says, ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير, Surah Al-Shura, and there's nothing equal or comparable to Him, and He is the all-hearer and the all-seer. وكما جاءت بذلك النصوص من الكتاب والسنة, He says, and just as it comes, or the text comes from the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام, قال الله عز وجل, Allah Ta'ala, He says, ترى كثيرا منهم يتولون الذين كفروا لا بئس ما قدمت لهم أنفسهم أن سخط الله عليهم وفي العذاب هم خالدون, Surah Al-Ma'idah. Allah Ta'ala, He says, ترى كثيرا منهم, and you see many of them, يتولون الذين كفروا, that they turn away, that those that disbelieve, they turn away. لا بئس ما قدمت لهم أنفسهم, and evil or low is that which they pick forth themselves. And سخط Allah, in order to bring forth the anger of Allah عليهم, upon them. وفي العذاب هم خالدون, and they will remain in His punishment for eternity. Surah Al-Ma'idah. ماذا نستفيد من هذه الآية? What do we benefit here? أن من صفات الله تعالى أنه يسخط. A benefit here is from the qualities of Allah is that Allah يسخط. Allah Ta'ala gets angry. How is Allah's anger?
In a manner that befits His Majesty.
In a manner that befits His Majesty. كما يليق بجلاله. قال وقال الله تعالى ولو أرادوا الخروج لعدو له عدة ولكن كره الله أن بعثهم فثبتهم وقيل اقعدوا مع القاعدين, Surah At-Tawbah. Another verse establishing some of the qualities of Allah, He says, and when or if they wanted to leave, لعدو له عدة ولكن كره الله. He says, in which, I want somebody to check this translation, ya ikhwan. Surah At-Tawbah, someone check for me. Surah At-Tawbah, verse 46. The word لَعُدُّ لَهُ.
They would make preparation.
They will make preparation. لَعُدُّ لَهُ. They will make preparation or prepare. No. عُدَّةً, a preparation. وَلَكِنْ كَرِهَ اللَّهُ. However, Allah Ta'ala disliked, hated. And بِعَاثَهُمْ فَثَبَّتَهُمْ وَقِيلَ قُعُدُوا مَعَ الْقَاعِدِينَ. And it was said to them, sit there, اقعدوا, with those who sit. قاعدة Surah At-Tawbah. وفي الحديث المغيرة بن شعبة, and as it comes in the hadith of Mughira, the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام, he said, إن الله كره لكم ثلاثا, that verily Allah dislikes, He hates for you three things. قيل وقال. When you say, oh, this one said this, and this one said that, she said this, and he said that, وإضاعة المال, and wasting one's wealth, وكثرة السؤال, and asking a lot of questions. متفق عليه, collected by Bukhari and Muslim. نكتب هذا الحديث يا إخوان. Let's write this hadith down إن شاء الله تعالى. حديث الأول لهذا الدرس, first hadith of tonight, inshallah, second hadith of tonight, narrated by Al-Mughira. Narrated by Al-Mughira. The Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام, he says, إن الله كره لكم ثلاثا. إن الله كره لكم ثلاثا. That verily Allah, He dislikes, He hates for you three things. إن الله كره لكم ثلاثا. Allah dislikes for you three things. قيل وقال, you could say gossip, or this one said this and this one said that. You're a person that you talk about, hey, he said this and she said that, this one said that and this one said this. That's called قيل وقال. You can say gossip in English. وإضاعة المال, number two, and wasting money. وكثرة السؤال, and asking a lot of questions. متفق عليه, collected by Al-Bukhari ومسلم. ماذا نستفيد من هذا الحديث? What do we benefit from this hadith يا إخوان? أولا, first benefit, من صفات الله سبحانه وتعالى صفة ماذا؟ الكره. أن يكره الله تعالى. Benefit number one, from the descriptions of Allah, is that Allah hates, Allah dislikes. As He said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَرِهَ. Allah dislikes, Allah hates. How does Allah hate? كما يليق بجلاله, in a manner that befits His Majesty. أحسنتم. قيل وقال. Benefit number two, gossip مما لا يرضى الله تعالى به. Gossip, this one said this and this one said that, is something that Allah is not pleased with. Allah hates that. You're a Muslim that you hear something, hey, I heard this, someone said that, she said this, they did that, him did this. That's something that كره الله تعالى لنا, Allah hates for us. Allah dislikes. وإضاعة المال كذلك مما يسخطه يكرهه الله. Also, wasting money is something that Allah hates. أحيانا المسلم يا إخوان يقع في هذا في العبادة. كيف ذلك? Sometimes the Muslim, ourselves, we do this in our own masjid a lot. A person can fall into this, wasting money while he's doing an action of worship. How is that? انتبهوا هنا, pay attention here. العبد يتوضأ. رأينا هذا كثيرا. We see this example a lot in our own masjid يا إخوان. The man, the child, the brother, the sister is making wudu. والوضوء عبادة, and making wudu is worship. لكن المال يسيل وهو لا يهتم به. المال يسيل, هو يتكلم مثلا, يسلم على ماذا أخيه أخته مثلا, ابنه مثلا, أخته بناته مثلا, يتكلم عن هذا وهذا, والمال يجري, والماء يجري. وهذا من إضاعة المال. إضاعة المال. The man is making wudu, and wudu is worship. While he's making the wudu, he's talking to his companion. Hey, assalamu alaikum. How's everything, akhi? How's your family? How's the... And the water is just running and running and wasting and wasting and wasting. He's talking about the game. The children, they do this a lot. Our boys playing the game or talking about the game. Hey, I got the new PS3. I got the new game. Oh, mashallah. How much you pay for it? And the water is just running and running and running. So this is an example of how the person is making wudu. Mada, and the water is just running and he's wasting his money. A lot of times نقع في هذا ولا نبالي. Many times we fall into this and we don't even care. انظر إلى أكثر المسلمين في شهر رمضان المبارك. Look at most of the Muslims of today in Ramadan. يصوم طول النهار. We fast the whole day. ثم نصلي المغرب ونفطر نأكل طعاما ولا نأكل كثيرا ثم نرمي البقية طعام إلى القمامة فهذا من إضاعة المال. Another example. In Ramadan, the Muslims, we fast all day. Alhamdulillah. May Allah accept our fast. Maghrib comes, they make the salah, alhamdulillah, and then they break their fast. And then you don't eat a lot. Nobody eats a lot in Ramadan. What do we do with the remaining of the food? Most nights, we throw it in the trash. We fasted all day, broke our fast, ate a little bit, mashallah ta'ala, شبعنا, now we're full. ونرمي بقية طعام إلى القمامة. وهذا ماذا إثم ومما كره الله تعالى علينا. And wasting food, ya ikhwan, myself included, it's a reminder for myself firstly, how much we waste from food, from wealth, from clothes, from shoes and this and that, ya ikhwan. And you don't even realize it, that I'm wasting. I have how many thobes, how many scarves, how many shoes, how many, and we don't even benefit from most of it, ya ikhwan. You know how long it'll take you to wear out a garment? إذا ألبس هذا الثوب كل يوم لا يبقى معي سنين يا إخوان، سنينا جدا كثيرا جدا، وهذا من فضل الله تعالى علينا. If one garment, I wear this one garment every day, yes, the people are going to talk about me. Oh, he's wearing the same. No problem. That happens يا إخوان. As they talked about Umar when he wore the same garment. لا بأس. If I wear the same thobe, one thobe, every day, do you know how long it'll take to wear out? It'll take years, and where you can't wear it no more. But we have thiyab for the winter, and thiyab for the summer, and thiyab for the spring, and thiyab for the fall. And the women are the same. She has a summer jilbab, and the winter jilbab, and the spring jilbab, and the fall jilbab. Then I got my summer shoes, and my fall shoes, and my winter shoes. A lot of that is wasting, ya ikhwan. كان عمر وهو من الزاهدين رحمه الله تعالى ورضي الله تعالى عنه. And Umar, yes, Umar was from the Zuhad, he was from the Zahidun. He was abstemious. He abstained from the dunya. كان له ثوبان رضي الله تعالى عنه. He had two garments. Two. واحد كان قديما والثاني أقدم من الأول. One of them was old, and the second was more old than the first. So he had an old one and a more old one, if I can say that. وأراد أن يخرج للصلاة يوما أو في الليل، لعله في الليل، وزوجته قالت هل يمكنك أن تغير هذا الثوب؟ ما عندك غيره؟ قال نعم عندي غيره لكن هو أسوأ من هذا. فضحكت. طيب أو كما قال الراوي. So one day he was about to go out for the salah. His beloved wife said to him, you can't change that. It was an old thobe. He's the leader of the Muslims. She said, you don't have another garment to wear? He said, yes, I got another one. I got one more. It's uglier, it's more old than this one. And then they began to laugh. At any rate, this dunya, ikhwan, لا تساوي شيئا. This worldly life doesn't equal to anything. هذه الحياة الدنيا التي نحن أو أكثرنا يقتل نفسه لأجلها لا تساوي شيئا عند الله. أبدا. This worldly life that us, or most of us, are killing ourselves trying to acquire. The man has one, mashallah, nice car. No, I need another car, ya akhi. He gets another car. Alhamdulillah, I need another car. He has 5 cars. He's still not, I need another car. He has a car, the wife has a car. 5 of the children, all of them have cars. The cat has. Man, I was there fun. A lot of times we don't see how much we waste. We don't see how much we waste here. The average phone nowadays costs what? How much is the new iPhone? 1,000 plus. That we all have. Our wives have 1,000 plus. The man, 1,000 plus. The children, they have to get an iPhone. 1,000 plus, 1,000 plus, 1,000 plus. For a phone. For a phone. That if you buy the نشتري يا إخوان هاتفا $300 مثلا يعمل بنفس أعمال هاتف iPhone. Wallah. If we spend $300, and that's a lot, in my opinion, on a phone, the iPhone is $1,300, a nice one. If I spend $300, I guarantee you, this phone can do the same things that iPhone can do. I guarantee you, everything. I remember there was a lady at my job years ago when the iPhone first came out. And she bought it, it was $1,000. She was so happy, mashallah. So I said to her, بكم اشتريتي هذا الهاتف؟ قال ب1000 أو أكثر من 1000. I said, how much did you pay for this phone? She said $1,000, a little more than 1,000. I said, طيب هذا الهاتف فخرجت هاتفي فاشتريته بتقريبا 200 في ذلك الوقت. 200 أو 100 قريبا إلى 200. So I said, this phone, and I took out my phone at that time, and I paid about $200 for it. Give or take. I said, this phone that I paid $200 for against your phone that's 1,000 plus. اذكري لي شيئا واحدا يمكن هاتفك أن يفعل لا يمكن هاتفي أن يعمل به أو أن لا يفعل لا يمكن أن تفعل أن تذكر شيئا واحدا. I said, okay, I'll challenge you. Whatever name my phone is, I challenge my $200 phone to your $1,200 phone. Tell me one thing, just one, that your iPhone can do that my phone can't. But be truthful. Be truthful. Don't make up nothing. It can fly. It can drive the car. No, be truthful. So she mentioned this. Oh, I can FaceTime. I said, okay, I can FaceTime too. Go to WhatsApp, video. Hey, salam alaikum. Same. She says, okay, I can walkie-talkie. I said, okay, hold on. I can walkie-talkie too. Hey, salam alaikum. Choo. Hey, wa alaikum salam. Choo. Same. She said, I got games. I said, I got games. She said, I can track this. I said, I could do the same. I said, the point I'm trying to make is everything your phone could do for $1,000, my phone can do the same. A lot of times, ikhwan, نتبع الأسماء وهذا خطأ. Many times we're only following the names. I have to buy this. Why? It's iPhone. I have to buy this sneaker. Why? Michael Jordan. I have to buy this boot. Why? Timberland. And we're not talking about quality. Quality is one thing. But most of the time we're just following the name. The name. And then after شهرين أو 3 أشهر جاء سيد أبل إذا هذا اسمه بهاتف جديد وهذا الجديد يفعل نفس الشيء القديم يفعله. فما فرق يا إخوان؟ فلماذا نقتل أنفسنا من أجل الجديد والقديم يساوي الجديد؟ أنا لا أفهم هذا أبدا. So now, in addition to that, 3 months later, Mr. Apple, if that's his name, I don't know his name yet. What's the Apple guy name?
The founder?
The founder who made Apple phones, iPhones.
Steve
somebody.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs or something. Okay. So then he's an intelligent businessman. He makes $1,000 phone, and then 3 months later he changes one thing. One thing. And now I got an iPhone 11 that's just like the 10. Doesn't do nothing different. And now we gotta buy the 10. And then 3 months later, here's the 11. And then 3 months later, here's the 12, here's the 13. And it's the same phone almost. Same phone. And we spend and we spend and we spend and we spend and we spend, and we don't realize that we may fall under this hadith, ikhwan, وإضاعة المال, and wasting our money. وهذا ليس بمعنى لا يمكن للعبد يا اخوان أن يحب الأشياء الجميلة. لا, هذا جائز في هذا الدين والحمد لله. This does not mean the person cannot like beautiful things and nice things. This does not mean that all of that's allowed. لكن إضاعة المال مما كره الله تعالى لنا. However, wasting your money, wasting our wealth and our possessions is something that Allah Ta'ala hates for us. وكثرة السؤال, and the last one, asking a lot of questions. قال وقال الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتولوا قوما غضب الله عليهم. Al-ayah, Surah Mumtahina. And Allah Ta'ala, He says, O you who believe, do not tawallaw qawman, do not get close to a friend or a group of people that Allah has anger, or that Allah is angered with. Surah Mumtahina. نستفيد هنا أن من صفات الله تعالى الغضب. We benefit here that from the qualities of Allah is that Allah gets angry. As Allah Ta'ala says, غضب الله عليهم. Those that Allah is angered with. How is Allah's anger? كما يليق بجلاله. In a manner that befits His Majesty. وقال الله تعالى, and Allah Ta'ala, He says في سورة زمر, as it comes in Surah Zumar, إن تكفروا فإن الله غني عنكم ولا يرضى لعباده الكفر وإن تشكروا يرضى لكم. Surah Zumar. And Allah Ta'ala says, and if they disbelieve, فإن الله غني عنكم, then Allah is not in need. If you disbelieve rather, then Allah Ta'ala is not in need of you. He is ghani. He is the of-rich, the sufficient. ولا يرضى لعباده الكفر. And Allah is not pleased. Pay attention here. Allah is not pleased for His servants to be disbelievers. وإن تشكروا يرضى لكم. And if you are grateful, then Allah is pleased with this for you. Surah Zumar. نستفيد هنا أن من صفات الله تعالى الرضا. We benefit here from the qualities of Allah is that Allah is pleased. How is Allah pleased? كما يليق بجلاله. In a manner that befits His Majesty. ونكتفي بهذا يا إخواني. We'll stop here perhaps inshallah ta'ala. وقال الله تعالى, last ayat of tonight, Surah Al-Baqarah. وقال تعالى وأحسنوا إن الله يحب المحسنين. Allah Ta'ala, He says, and وأحسنوا, and do good, for verily Allah loves those who do good. نستفيد هنا بأن من صفات الله تعالى الحب. We benefit here that from the qualities of Allah is love. كيف يحب الله? How does Allah love? Mercy. How does Allah love? In a manner that befits His Majesty. طيب نكتفي إن شاء الله تعالى بهذا يا إخوان. We'll stop there inshallah. If anyone has anything to put forth, you can do so inshallah. تفضل يا شيخ.
It's regarding the كثرة السؤال.
كثرة السؤال.
Details on that one.
طيب إذا العبد مثلا يسأل ويسأل ويسأل مثلا وأسئلته أو معظمها بدون فائدة. مثلا إذا هو يبحث عن شيء والسؤال أسئلته مفيدة وينفعه لا بأس. If the person is asking and asking and asking and his questions have benefit, he's benefiting from his questions, he has some beneficial questions, then that's different. But if the person is asking and asking and there's no benefit in his question, the person says مثلا فصنع نبي الله نوح سفينة. هذه الخشب أو هذا الخشب من أي نوع من الشجرة؟ فمن يستفيد من مثل هذا يا إخوان? The man says, okay, our prophet Noah erected, he created, he put together an ark, a ship. So the wood that he made it from, what type of tree was that from? And then he says, okay, how big was the tree? How many leaves were on the tree? مثلا, someone says, سمعنا هذا كثيرا في اليمن. We heard this question a lot in Yemen. فالله تعالى أخرج نبينا آدم وزوجته حواء من الجنة. نعم صح. ما كانوا في أي أرض كان. مثلا في السعودية، في إفريقيا، في اليمن، في إنديا، في الهند. أين كان؟ فمن يستفيد من هذا مثلا? So the man says, okay, Allah removed our Prophet Adam and his wife Hawa from the Jannah and put them on the earth. As it comes in the ayah, طيب, where in the earth were they? Were they in Africa? Were they in Sardinia? Were they in Yemen? Were they in India? Were they here? Were they there? Who's going to benefit from the likes of that, ya ikhwan? The black man says, hey, he was in Africa. The Arab says, hey, he was in Sardinia. The Indian man says, hey, he was in India. The white man says, hey, he was there. What's the benefit, ya ikhwan? لعل الله تعالى ترك هذا مبهما من أجل الفائدة. Perhaps Allah left this unknown for a reason. Allah could have mentioned where they were. Allah nowhere in the Quran mentions what part of the earth were they. So no one can claim, no one can come with some unsuriya, مثلا. The black man can't say, hey, he's black. The white man can't say, hey, no, he's white. The Arab can't say, hey, he's Arab. The Indian can't say, hey, he's Indian. No, Allah left it like that for a reason, ya ikhwan. Walhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So asking questions that have benefit, no problem. But asking just questions after question after question after question after question with no benefit, ya ikhwan. You have a question, you have a need, ask, no problem. But then you ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask, 2,200, not like that, ya ikhwan, not like that. This is something that Allah Ta'ala does not like. نكتفي بهذا واستعب يا إخوان وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وإياكم يا شيخ. أكرمكم الله يا إخواننا أكرمكم الله.